We're about to watch the 3rd episode of The Expanse, but before we get into it, I've been thinking. A few of you were kind enough to point out that the ship that picked them up in last week's amazing cliffhanger, well, they were able to identify it, and it had a name, and the ship that attacked them, they did not identify with the name, and so that would seem to possibly, y'all didn't say this specifically, but that would seem to indicate that they're two different ships altogether, and that's great because as I was editing the episode, I was already really processing, thinking, and paying attention to the storyline on Earth with Christian talking about how the OPA possibly has stolen stealth technology or is maybe thinking about, or I don't know, you know what, the details get muddied, but I was already kind of wondering, what if it wasn't Mars that attacked? What if it was the Outer Planetary Alliance? Is that even the correct? I'm gonna get all the terminology down. Why did I even have to give it a name? I could have just said OPA. I've been drinking coffee, and here we are. What would the purpose of the OPA being if they are the ones who committed the attack? What is their purpose? What is their goal? Maybe it's just to stir up conflict between Earth and Mars, and maybe they can, I don't know, like get some power for themselves while there's an actual war going on. I don't know, maybe I'm way off base and that's entirely wrong. Okay, the second thing, another person mentioned that this show, as far as sci-fi go, is incredibly science-based. Like they've gone through great lengths to try to show everything in as realistic a way as possible, as far as like what would happen if we colonize the solar system and like the way space exploration and things take place. And yeah, I feel that like everything has like a weighty realism to it, more or less, so far, and that's kind of fun in a sci-fi setting, right? Where a lot of times things can get so fanciful and really pressing the point of believability, which doesn't really bother me because I'll believe anything. However, it is kind of cool watching a show that is more or less grounded in reality and yet not at all grounded in reality, if that makes sense. And finally, one of my longest running patrons, Gigi Gooding, mentioned, and I don't have the verbiage exactly right, but that this show has some incredible pacing as far as like gentle, slow world building, yet breakneck speed plot. And that is so accurate because I've kind of really been enjoying kind of what feels like really slow world building, allowing me to immerse myself in the world and kind of get acclimated, like just kind of gently dipping my toes into the water and you know, going a little bit deeper in episode 2. And like, but at the same time, both episodes, when it was over, I looked over, I have my like microphone recording over here, and it has how long it's been recording. And I looked over, like, there's no way it's been 45 minutes already. There's no way this episode is over, and yet it was. And so as much as I compliment the show for taking its time world building, it's also moving very quickly. Like, these episodes are pretty fast paced, considering I just think they've really nailed the pacing in a unique way. And it's in a way where at some point I feel like I have to assume it's gonna stop feeling like we're laying the groundwork and it's gonna just like go. Will that be today in episode 3? I don't know. The only way to find out is to watch it. So let's get into it.
My name is James Holden, speaking for the 5 survivors.
They're getting the message right now.
Our ship was destroyed answering a bogus SOS from a ship called the
Wow. Now they know, everyone knows what happened to that water shipment. Is his name Dimitri? Back again. He can't seem to stay away. I doubt I left it in my edit from the first 2 episodes, but he's been here at least once before, possibly once per episode.
Stay calm. Und take gut.
Is she training him in something?
Hands big. And when you talk in and before is...
Okay, this is not a sex thing for him. This is something else.
Inte kolting gonjego to pochujeke.
better. Every time better.
I'm a good teacher.
This is cool. I like when they take something and they twist it.
Why don't you stay off the streets today, okay? Huh? It could get dangerous out there.
Maybe you too.
Earther.
Radicals are going to try to exploit the situation.
For sure.
You can't blame them. Mars practically declared war on the belt.
There will be no preemptive arrests of any OPA members. They're legal residents of the belt. We're an Earth Corp. We will remain impartial. Unless as your team leader, Miller, I don't want to hear it.
Nope, it's connected to something else. You do want to hear it.
Juliet Mao.
That's not important right now.
It is.
Oh, no, it's important. The Scopuli is the ship that holding guy got scooped up trying to save. Julie Mao was on it.
This was a favor. She's not on series, so I'll run that up the line, and then Daddy Warbucks could bother some other station chief that he thinks he owns. File the report, close the case, enjoy your tax-free bonus.
Easier said than done, I think. for our pal, Joe Miller. At least I wouldn't be able to let it go. Would you? I don't know. Tax-free bonus is nice. What is it? Why did it beep?
All right, let's go.
The right to legal counsel.
Amos will not stand for Naomi being mistreated, and obviously he won't stand.
Now look.
Either way.
He's coming with us.
Interesting. Why him?
What?
Because of the beeping?
Why would Mars blow up an ice freighter?
They're trying to destabilize Sirius. OPA fans the flames. And Mars gets the excuse they've always wanted to sweep in and pacify the station.
We don't even know that the Martians are behind this. We have the word of some ice hauler named James Holden.
He was a naval officer.
You saw his service record.
He has no reason to lie. With those resources, Mars could finally cut the cord to air.
Plan of action, Admiral.
And it can't be. Let's just sit and wait.
Unless we have proof, that's exactly what we should be doing.
You do need proof.
The Admiral's right.
Because Jim Holden told you what he believes. I'm no longer 100% sure he's right.
How are you holding up?
This Canterbury business. Martians won't release any more intel, if they even have any.
So for the moment, you're completely useless, and therefore have no excuse not to come to my house this afternoon.
No, I don't know if I'm any fun right now.
You're never fun.
Oh, hey, that's the same guy who was like giving a speech in the first episode, stirring up the words of revolution. What did I say? Resolution.
They blew up the Canterbury. Remember the Cant. Remember the Cant.
Remember the Cant.
Break it up. Good man, you're going. Come on.
Should even shut down my cases.
The cute girl kidnapped side job. See, to me, it sounded more like a time suck for some rich dirt cider.
It started that way.
Cover for me, will you? Just for an hour.
You're gonna try to frame us. Think about it. All we need is one false confession.
And I wonder who'll crack first.
Nice.
Shut up.
My money would be on Shed, for sure.
No other reason to let us talk.
You.
What is that? No, it's for him. Like a buff, give him a little advantage.
Why would you destroy the Canterbury? What?
Absolutely trying to frame them.
What are you talking about? You were a problem in the Navy 8 years ago.
You were dishonorably discharged.
He ordered me to fire on a Belter ship.
He was a smuggler?
Who was smuggling people.
You had no way of knowing that at the time.
But I was right.
That makes a difference.
Earth and Mars have been stepping on the necks of the Belters out here for over 100 years, and I didn't want to be the boot.
So you decided to switch sides.
I stopped playing. Never stopped at Phoebe, its restricted station. Why did you nuke the Canterbury?
How long have you known that Naomi Nagata was an OPA?
Naomi's in what?
What?
Is he just making up stuff?
You never wondered why someone of such obvious intelligence was wasting her life sealing cracks and fixing gauges.
I never asked.
It clearly required extraordinary improvisational expertise for you and your crew members simply to survive, let alone restore your antenna array. These are the hallmark skill sets of terrorists.
Or a main character in a TV show.
Naomi's not OPA. I don't believe
Neither do I.
You do now.
No. Did he say that because he's trying to convince him or because he knows it's true? He can see it in his eyes. I don't know.
All right, I want every box on this pier opened up, and I want full manifests on everything. Got reports there's some dangerous contraband.
I'm looking for Anderson Dawes. Kind of runs things around here, right?
I don't suss at nothing.
Well, why don't you look around? See what you can find. For me?
Our operatives caught an OPA agent with Martian stealth composites. Mars is working with the OPA.
It's conjecture.
No, it can't be.
We think they're making a move to take Sirius.
The Martians wouldn't do that.
I think you love them too much.
I think we don't know the whole scope of the situation yet. I can't wait till we know. This is great.
I mean, all that fancy gear, the one thing they don't allow for is scratching your junk.
Yeah, I get jock itch too sometimes.
He's got no balls. The Martian Navy took that away from him when he joined up.
Martian Navy sounds fun. What?
You look very well treated.
Yeah, what's up?
Yeah, I flew with the Mars Navy for 20 years before I shipped off on the Cant.
That explains some stuff.
And I was honorably discharged. Yeah, they told me. They told me a lot of stuff. You honestly think that Mars destroyed the Canterbury? Why would they do that? That beacon we found that you found so easy? What if it was planted?
Could be.
Who stands to gain if Earth and Mars get into a throwdown?
OPA.
How well do any of us really know Naomi?
These men refuse to top up our water tanks. Mars killed the cats! Hey, back these guys up.
Coal man gotta die sometime. But now.
Give the Martians their water!
Okay.
We know they're not animals.
Oh. I've seen him on Fringe. Probably some other stuff too.
Treat them the way they should treat us. My medicine dose.
Anderson Dawes.
You wanted to talk?
Oh, Juliet Andromeda Mao. He's, OPA. Julie Mao.
She any relation to Jules Pierre Mao?
Sounds like it could be.
You crewed her up on a ship called the Scapuli?
An Earth Corp may pay your salary, but you were born here.
Yeah?
I think that under that ridiculous hat, there's a belter yearning to find his way home.
I like Anderson.
He took a young, naive, rich girl, daddy issues, got inside her head.
Stop.
Whether I should or not, jury's out, but...
Other than the money, what do you care? You didn't know her.
But he does care, doesn't he?
I'll ask around for you. Thank you for preventing bloodshed earlier. Ceres will need men like you in the days to come.
I mean, he's obviously trying to recruit Joe, probably for the OPA.
Your educational history is quite impressive.
Oh, gonna go through the whole routine again?
James Holden.
What about him?
He has no love for Earth.
He's from Earth.
He hasn't been back in over 12 years.
People don't work long-range freight because they love it at home.
Who'd you leave behind? Why did you leave the Canterbury?
You were answering a distress call.
Belters scrub distress calls all the time. 9 times out of 10, it's pirates. Who registered the call? Someone who survived?
It was definitely Jim Holden. Could he be OPA? Is that a crazy assertion on my part?
It was Holden.
I don't know what to believe anymore. I never did, if we're being honest.
Join up? Wait, what? That's an option?
What did you guys tell him?
I told them everything. Anything they wanted to know, I told them. I think I made some stuff up at the end. I can't remember. I just kept
Shed's
talking.
great, man.
They'll say anything to get in our heads. They told me that you faked your medical records and signed on to the Cant to get away from a drug dealer who wanted you dead.
Well, that's true.
Oh, well, there you go. Hey, the gang's all back together, which is weird.
Are you OPA?
Unbelievable.
These Navy boys, they're not gonna play with us all day. So unless y'all want to spend the rest of your lives breaking big rocks into little ones at Olympus
Such a
Mons,
great scene.
somebody better come clean.
You
all
stopped
so
me
good.
from chasing down the ship that killed the Cant. Why?
Because you were being a reckless idiot.
Yeah?
Sleeper agents. You ever heard of them?
Well, screw you!
Guys.
Human shields, you ever heard of those?
Hey! I'm ready to talk, but only to your captain.
Does he have something to say? Surely Jim didn't have anything to do with the explosion. He wouldn't have killed Ade.
We picked up a spike in chatter between Mars High Command and 9 MCRN facilities believed to manufacture stealth composites.
I thought there were only 6.
There were more than...
Surprise.
They were taking inventory. I leaked to DeGraff that Mars was giving stealth tech to the OPA. The spike in chatter was panic.
Nice.
They were calling to see if anything was missing. And since they had to ask, it means that they didn't give it to anyone.
It wasn't Mars. We've cleared their name.
They didn't destroy the Canterbury.
Then who did?
Someone who's trying to start a war.
The question is, should we be on the side of those starting the war or opposed to them because we like the status quo and peace? But what if this isn't peace? Should we be rooting for the Belters? Maybe.
You will publicly recant your statement.
You guarantee the safety of my people, and I'll say whatever you want.
That the Canterbury was destroyed through the actions of Naomi Nagata, an operative of an OPA sleeper cell. Are you willing to make that statement?
That can't be true. Without her, I'd be dead.
She saved her own life, too.
Semantics.
We've been tracking it inbound ever since we picked up your distress call. It's not one of ours, or Earth's, and it won't answer our hails.
That's for sure OPA.
We suspect it was sent for Naomi Nagata.
Hey, Miller, you need to get your ass back down to Medina now. We got problems.
Yeah, this is gonna become messier before it gets better. I don't know.
Attention, please. For your own safety. By order of the governor, there is now a curfew.
Oh, this will go over fine.
Please return to your homes.
I was gonna say, no one's going home. They're on the verge of a riot and you're trying to give them orders. I'm sorry. This was a no-win situation. It just was. I love that you tried, you had a try, and now it's a riot. It's just the way it was gonna go. Hope nobody gets killed.
Remember the Cant!
At least you had the respect to stab me in the chest. You know what I love most about Mars? They still dream. They're an entire culture dedicated to a common goal, working together as one to turn a lifeless rock into a garden. We had a garden, and we paved it.
Wow.
My diplomatic credentials have been revoked. I've been banned from Mars for life.
Oh, I feel so bad for him.
We may have stopped a war.
For sure you did.
For a while, anyway.
For a while.
Do you remember? You were very young. A couple of us played cards at your house. You demanded to play. And when the deal came to you, you called your game. Then you pointed to the far end of the yard and you said,
"Whoever gets to the tree first wins."
You dropped your cards and were halfway there before anyone else realized what was happening.
She was playing a whole different game.
I was terrified for you. I didn't know why. And now I do. You will do anything to win. Just like your father. That's what got him killed. I won't play with you. Ever again.
We've already seen she'll go to great lengths. I don't know where her, moral compass points. Certainly it leans towards the gray, if not fully in the black.
Calming down around here. I'm just gonna stick around for a while and make sure it stays that way.
Understood, Havelock. I'll pass it along.
Okay.
Oh.
Stay calm, okay? Take all thing when you get.
He's getting to. He tried.
Nah, it's not over, Urta. It's just beginning.
I don't know what's gonna happen here. Obviously, he's gonna get beat. Oh my gosh.
Remember the Cant.
Oh my gosh, no. No! I don't think he's gonna survive that. Shoot. And I just learned his name was Havelock. Marvelous episode. This show, I find it really intriguing and engaging. And I'll just say this. I don't know what your experience was watching this the first time. And I have to imagine someone who's seen the show before and is very acclimated with the world politics might be annoyed or frustrated with my theorizing or guessing or not knowing certain things that maybe should be obvious. I don't know if that's the case or not. But what I'm enjoying about this right now is that for me, anyway, it's not obvious. We're meeting a lot of characters. I don't know who the good guys are, who the bad guys are, or if there are no good guys or bad guys, and it's just one big gray, messy world. That's certainly the case. Part of the fun in Battlestar Galactica was watching how they would deal with topics and how a lot of things were gray and messy, and there wasn't always a clean cut right and wrong. And I don't know if The Expanse kind of follows in that tradition or not, but it's really, really fascinating. And I'm loving. I feel like they could have started this show like maybe a couple episodes after this point where there was like clearly defined lines. They could have said, here are the people you should root for. Here are the people you should root against. And they haven't really even totally done that. Like I'm watching kind of all of this unfold and I'm like, well, the natural inclination is to root for Earth because I'm a flat out Earther, not a flat Earther. That's a different thing. I'm not ashamed of it. I'm an Earther, right? But many of our heroes are belters, and Joe obviously is a belter who works for Earth. And we have our crew, which are miners mining water. One of them might be with the OPA, maybe, but maybe not. I don't think Jim was with the OPA. I think Jim genuinely believed that Mars was the attack. That's why he sent that message out there. So maybe it was a little bit silly for me to even entertain that thought. But I don't know if the show is presenting an idea. I feel like I have to at least entertain it and go, well, what if, oh, even if it doesn't fully make sense. And sometimes I can be very in the moment and I don't always pull information from the past to my own detriment, I suppose. But I'm super curious. I'm really loving the storyline of our prisoners and how the Martians handled that, kind of putting them in individual cells, sort of letting them talk, pulling them out, interviewing them one by one, giving them information that may or may not be true. I love getting a little bit of Shed's backstory there. Well, that's all true. That was very funny. Everything about Shed is funny. Maybe immediate favorite character just because of the funny. Of course, it culminated with Holden deciding, you know what, this fighting that's happening right now isn't the way. Let me just go try to tell them and do whatever needs to be done. But he's not willing to say Naomi is an agent of the OPA and that everything is her fault. I don't think everything's her fault, even if she does work for the OPA. But I don't know. Ultimately, I mean, we're 3 episodes in, and I don't necessarily feel like I know anything. I don't necessarily feel like I have any concrete answers, and I'm enjoying that feeling, enjoying that experience, just kind of like still slowly getting immersed in the world. I feel like things are on the peripheral, like things are starting to come into focus, they're starting to come together, but they haven't quite clicked in place yet. Is that the feeling I'm supposed to be experiencing now or not? You tell me. Either way, I'm enjoying the experience, and I'm having a great time watching the show. Hopefully you're enjoying watching with me. If you'd like more, consider checking me out over on Patreon or as a YouTube channel member where you can watch the next 2 months of episodes right now. And of course, over on Patreon, you can add full episode reactions. So check that out if you want to, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.